Welcome back to Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous. Tonight, I am going to be talking to you about RSI's brand new long-range, high-capacity transporter, the 2945 Constellation Taurus. If hauling cargo from one end of UEE Space to the other while looking gorgeous is what you want to do, this is the ship for you. Let me give you a brief overview of what RSI says about this ship. A job done right. You don't have time for nonsense, and neither does the Constellation Taurus, featuring focused design that does what you need and does it well. This is a ship that is ready to get down to business. With a chassis that's been refined to the essentials, the Taurus can handle bigger hauls than its brothers while maintaining a fuel economy few in its class can match, thanks to its new lower fixed thrusters. The extended rear hull houses 12 hydraulic piston lifts for easy loading and our patented quick hitch cargo release system for even easier unloading. You've got work to do, and now with the 2945 Taurus, you've got the vehicle that will work with you. That's an awesome corporate explanation of this ship. So let's take a look at what the pilot sees in this ship. And we're going to start with the ship specs that RSI released in this brochure. So the ship stats show a couple of things. The first thing is that even though this is carrying more, it's actually a few meters shorter than the Andromeda, Aquila, and Phoenix. The weight class is right in the same weight class, with this being 80,000 tons standard and the others being somewhere between 80,550 and 81,000. So not really that much of a difference. Immediately you see an increase of 800 freight units of cargo over the standard size Taurus, pushing it all the way up to 1,900. To accomplish this, they need to get rid of two things. One is the engine compartment, which is now at the very tail end of the cargo area and no longer in its own room. And the second thing is they get rid of the docking collar and tunnel for the P-52 Merlin. So you have already lost one major piece of defense, but you're not looking for battle on the ship. You're looking to haul cargo. You also have to look at the front end of the ship, and we'll do that in just a few seconds. You lose the bottom turret. So like the Freelancer Max, the Constellation Taurus loses some of its defensive capabilities and gains the ability to haul a lot more cargo. In the real world, this is probably not going to be a big issue because we're going to all be part of organizations and be able to have our friends and our organization mates flying cover for us on long-range hauls where we really need to move 1,900 freight units of cargo from one end of the UEE Space to the other. So now let's take a look at the ship. Externally, the first thing that can set this ship apart is whether seeing it from the front or the back. You're going to see the immediate loss of the bottom turret with the blister underneath it, which can house cargo, I believe. And then in the back, you do not see the docking collar for the P-52 Merlin. So that is a big piece of it, okay? The actual shape, form of this ship is very much like the other two that I've already reviewed. I expect the textures to be beaten up on this one, and they kind of actually add a little bit of character to this ship. So when I'm making fun of the textures on the Andromeda and on the Aquila, I don't expect them to be there, but in a ship that's just hauling cargo, I do. This is a pretty nice looking variant, but it's not too dissimilar from the other ones, but at the same time, it definitely has its own unique profile. That expanded cargo bay and the missing turret and rear Merlin, like I said before, very, very, very quickly mark this as a Taurus. And that means that if you're out in space, very quickly will a pirate or some other character out there be able to tell what you're in and be able to use tactics against you as quickly as possible. Flying this on long-range hauls, you're really going to need to have escorts, so remember that. And I don't think, based on what the AI is like in Arena Commander right now, that's who you want. So back here we could talk about what drives this ship through space. The first thing is the factory power plant. It's a Juno Starwork Endurance 6600. It's a size 5. You can actually fit a size 6 in here. The factory engines are four X-Forge ES4 290s and they're TR4s. Now, this ship is going for endurance and fuel savings. Remember, fuel is going to matter in the game. So you can fit TR5s, but you're probably not going to be able to go as far with the cargo that you have. So let's go into the ship and take a look around. So inside the ship, like I said, the textures make sense in here. Immediately you notice there's no, there it is, no turret. Now we were told that the Phoenix, which shows the same kind of layout, is actually going to have a bottom turret by the time it gets deployed to our new hangars. Now that I know where to click, it's very easy to get in and out of the front seat. So we could take a look around the ship from the outside. And there's a nice big display sitting in the front, which I think only appears in the 3 new variants. I don't remember seeing that in the Andromeda when I reviewed it. So the same panoramic canopy looking up and around that you have in 2 of the other Constellation models, being the Andromeda and the Phoenix, which we have not reviewed yet. On the outside of the ship, we see the almost identical upper profile of the ship. And then as we're looking around it, we can see it is actually, all in all, a constellation. I'm looking at those 2 canards that actually move forward and back. I think right now they're in the back position, exposing the cockpit to more of, to more visibility. Now they move to fix the center of gravity when landing the ship vertically, and you'll see those 4 huge fans in the front there. Pretty cool looking ship, right? I extended the cargo bay when I was on the ground because if you go in the ship and do it, you're just not getting back out of there again. You're stuck. So we're going to get out of this and we're going to walk over and let's see if we can get up here. There's no way. This is not working. Alright, there's probably a way to get in. Nope. Back in the captain's seat. I don't believe this. So we can tell that there are a lot of different items that were not done for this release. And that's because they really just wanted to get these out for the big weekend for GamesCom. So look out the side windows. It's a pretty good view out here. Could you imagine this thing in space and you're on it just like we are right now and going, just flying around that huge open world that we're going to be able to fly around. Of course, we have the module stations that are going to be important when we start looking at equipment that we can buy to put sensor packages and other things in the ship. Maybe we want something that could give us more of a stealthy run through space so we could deliver our cargo without being seen. Something to jam other people's scanners. Every ship needs to have a kitchenette. I say this every time we go through. Now the max crew here is 4, but two of the beds have been done away with this really beat up bathroom that you would see in like an oil tanker or a large box freighter that goes, between like here and China or something like that. This is just, like I said, in this case, I really like the texturing of this. It really makes it look like this big cargo vessel that you would see docked at any port in the US or around the world. So the same wonderful, brand new sleeping chambers and escape pods. I don't know what this is over here, but they were moved from the back to the front. They're probably storage lockers. And then a huge cargo compartment. It's tremendous. I mean, this has 1,900 freight units of space. Oh, by the way, these jump seats on the right, I think someone pointed out there are probably ways to reload your missiles. And this is the area that would be the engine room and where the P-52 Merlin entry hatch is. But now the engine room is just at the back of here, which they probably could have still left an engine room, but I'm not too unhappy with it being in the cargo compartment of this ship. I can't tell you enough how much I don't think you should ever walk down these ladders in the cargo compartment, because you do get stuck down there. There's that floating light source again. Probably will not be fixed until version 0.9 of Arena Commander, version 13 of the hangar. These textures over here to the right, just to give you an idea, somebody said they may be ways to load the missiles that are on the arms. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I fell down in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and push that up and then walk underneath the elevator, and even though it's not there, you'll still be pushed up into it. Like I said, these are not complete. I really like the way this one looks on the inside, and I was so negative about the other one. This ship is all about this part of the ship, the cargo area, with its 1,900 freight units of usable cargo space. So who is this ship good for? Well, that's a pretty simple answer there, right? The people that love to trade. And in Star Citizen's Player Universe, the economy is going to be a game all on its own, with the in-game mechanics being regulated by player interaction about what ships you're buying, what ships are blowing up, where commodities are needed, where resources are needed, where weapons are needed. Everything is going to be generating missions that are going to be centered around hauling. And don't forget, make enough money, you could actually own a factory. So if you want to play the economy, which, let's face it, even in World of Warcraft, people play the economy by working the auction house. If that's your type of gameplay, this is the ship for you. And this is a beauty to do all of your hauling in. Well, one last thing, I'm going to cut ahead to where I tried to put the Gray Cat buggy into this unit. We'll see what happens. So I'm about ready to show you a bug that still exists on the elevators up to the top floor of this hangar. So I get us in here, and the ship does not act as a surface that the buggy can roll on. It just slides across it, and there's no way to stop it. And when you do, watch what happens. After a few minutes of trying to get the buggy to stop, it finally did. I tried to use the elevator, and this is what happened. Kind of just blends, it melts right through the floor. This, honestly, I keep saying it over and over again. It is obvious that they just wanted us to see the Constellation Variants. My guess is by the time version 1.3 comes out, every major complaint, which there aren't many, is going to be fixed. And I just can't wait for that to happen. So this is going to conclude my review of the Taurus. Tomorrow night, I'm doing a podcast with Dr. Hawk, so it may preclude me from doing the Phoenix review. And if it does, please forgive me. I'll have it out as soon as I can. But if all things do go right, I will have it done. That's all I have for you. You all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.